Right, hello everyone. We are doing day 6 of Advent of Cyber. So today's task is on memory corruption. Memories of Christmas past. Right, we have a target box. Let's start you. Throughout the merger, we've detected some worrying coding practices from the South Pole elves. To ensure their code is up to standard, some frostlings from the South Pole will undergo a quick training session about memory corruption vulnerabilities. This is all courtesy of the B team. Welcome to the training. The learning objectives this time around, we're going to understand how specific languages may not handle memory safely. We can understand how variables might overflow into adjacent memory and corrupt it. We'll learn how to exploit a simple buffer overflow to directly change memory that you're not supposed to access. Right, so today's card, I really like these. This was a great addition this year. So, you don't need an attack box. We will have a VM, which I've started. There's no split screen, but there is a direct link. We don't have credentials. Be sure to start the machine at the top right of the task before continuing. All you need for the challenge is available in the deployable machine. Once the machine is started, you can access the game at this. Open in a new tab. If you receive a 502 error, please give the machine a couple minutes to boot and then refresh. That looks like it works. So, you over here, we'll do a side by side anyway. Cool. So the game, we're doing another game one. This was like the game one from last year was one of the better ones. So in this game, you'll play as cat or mouse. Your objective is to save Christmas by buying the star for your Christmas tree from Van Frosty. In addition to the star, you can buy as many ornaments as you can carry to decorate the tree. To gain money to buy things, you use the computer to do online freelance programming jobs. You can also speak to Van Holly to change your name for a fee of 1 coin per character. He says that this is totally not a scam. He will actually start calling you by your new name. He is, after all, into identity management. So is this a bug? Before the training even starts, Van Jolly approaches McHoneybell and says that they've been observing some weird behaviour while playing the game. They think the ghost of Christmas past is haunting it. McHoneybell asks them to reproduce what they saw. Van Jolly boots up the game and does the following, which you are free to replicate. So let's do it. Right, after the star, just interact with the Christmas tree and that's it. You're free to buy as many ornaments as you can carry. So what do? We punch the computer and it gives us money. That's how real life works. So use it until you get 13 coins. 12, 13, 14 anyway. Ask Van Holly to change your name to Scrooge Rocks. So who's Van Holly? There we go. So, howdy, cat or mouse. I can change your name for 1 coin per character. Sounds like fun. Let's do it. Change your name to Scrooge Rocks! Exclamation mark. There you go, enjoy your new name. Suddenly you have 33 coins out of nowhere. Oh yeah. So Van Jolly explains that when you change your name to anything large enough, the game goes nuts. Sometimes you'll get random items in your inventory, or the coins just disappear. Even when the dialogues stop working and show random gibberish, there must surely be the work of magic. McHoneybell doesn't look convinced. After some thinking, she seems to know what this is about. So remember, whenever we execute program, this game included, all data is processed somehow through the computer's RAM. In this video game, your coin count, inventory position, movement speed and direction are all stored in the game's memory. And it's updated as needed as the game goes on. Usually each variable is stored so that only that is stored in memory, and it can only be manipulated in specific ways as the developers intended. For example, you should only be able to modify your coins by working on the PC, or by spending the money in the store, or by changing your name. a well-programmed game, you shouldn't be able to influence your coins in any other way. What happens if we can indirectly change the content of memory space that holds the coin count? What if the game had a flaw that allows you to overwrite pieces of memory that you're not supposed to? Memory corruption vulnerabilities will allow you to do just that and much more. So Honeybell says a debugger is needed to check the memory contents while the game is running. On hearing that, Van Sprinkles says that they programmed a debug panel into the game that does that. This will make it easier for us. While they're developing the game, the Frostlings added a debugging functionality to watch the memory layout of some of the game's variables. They did this because they couldn't understand why the game was suddenly crashing or behaving strangely. To access the hidden memory monitor, press Tab in the game. Oh yeah, cool. Scrooge rocks. You can press Tab repeatedly to cycle through two different views for the debugging interface. First is the ASCII view, which we've got now. The memory contents will be shown in ASCII encoding. It's useful when trying to read data stored in strings. The hex view, the memory contents will be shown in hex. This is useful for cases where the data you're trying to monitor is a raw number or other data that can't be represented as an ASCII string. So we press Tab again. Okay, yeah, of course we got. So we just toggle through those settings. Nice. Right, viewing the contents in RAM will prove helpful for understanding how memory corruption occurs. Be sure to check the debug panel for each action that you make in game. Remember that you can always hide the debug panel by pressing Tab until it closes. So we need to investigate the Scrooge Rocks case. Armed with the debugging panel, McHoneybell starts the lesson. As a first step, she asks you to restart your game. Refreshing the website should work, so let's do that. Open the debug menu in hex mode. The Frostlings have labelled each of the variables stored in memory, making it easy to trace them. McHoneybell wants you to focus your attention on the coins variable. Go to the computer and generate a coin. So we want hex, and then... So at the moment we've got one coin. 2 coins. See this number here is changing. You see my mouse cursor? No. Alright, let me add it. Capture cursor. Right, so yeah, here. So this number 2 is changing. Where are we at? So, as expected, it will increase with the user interface changing and the debug panel simultaneously. We now know where the coin count is stored. McHoneybell then points out that straight before coins, in the memory space, we have the player name variable. She also notes that player name only has room to accommodate 12 bytes, so these 444 is 12. Why does it matter? Asks a confused Van Twinkle. Because if you try to change your name to Scrooge Rocks, you'll be using 13 characters, which amounts to 13 bytes. Van Twinkle, still perplexed, interrupts. So what would happen to the extra byte at the end? McHoneybell says this will overflow into the first byte of the coins variable. To prove the point, Honeybell proposes replicating the same experiment. This time we'll get 13 coins and change our name to AAAAA BBBBB CCCCCX. Meanwhile, we'll keep an eye on the debug panel. Let's look in the game what happens. So I need 13 coins. So 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 13. So we've done the grind. We talk to you. Change my name to AAAABBBBCCCCX. Cool, now we've got 120 coins. Alright, all of a sudden we have 120 coins. The memory space of the coins variable now holds 78. Remember that 0x78 in hexadecimal equals 120 in decimal. To make this even clearer, let's switch the debug panel to ASCII mode. We've got X. The X at the end of our new name split into the coins variable The ASCII hexadecimal for X is 0x78, so the coin value was changed to 0x78, which is 120 in decimal. I'll just tab down. So, as you can see,
Christy says, "Hello, Saint
hey Christy.
Nick. Smile, smile."
So as you can see, McHoneyBell's predictions were correct. The game doesn't check if the player name variable has enough space to store the name. Instead, it keeps writing to the adjacent memory, overwriting the values of the other variables. This vulnerability is known as a buffer overflow. This can be used to corrupt memory right next to the vulnerable variable. Buffer overflows occur in some programming languages, mostly C and C++, where the variable's boundaries aren't strict. If programmers don't check the boundaries themselves, it's possible to abuse the variable or read and write memory beyond the space initially reserved for it. And this game has been written in C++. So strings in more detail. By now the Frostlings look baffled. It never occurred to them that they should check the size of the variable before writing to it. Van Twinkle has another question. When the game started, the main character's name was cat or mouse, which only uses 10 characters. How does the game know the length of the string if no boundary check is performed? To explain this, McHoneyBell asks us to do the following. Restart the game, get 3 coins and change your name to Elf. Right, so restart. Space. Right, 3 coins. 1, 2, 3. Right. Elf. Right, so the result should look like this. When the strings are written to memory, each character is written in order, taking 1 byte each. A null character, represented in our game as a red 0, is also concatenated at the end of the string. A null character is simply a byte with the value 00, which can be seen by changing the debug panel to hex mode. So there you go, 00. Right. When reading a variable as a string, the game will stop at the first null character it finds. This allows programmers to store smaller strings into variables with larger capacities. Any character appearing after the null byte is ignored, even if it has a value. To better explain all of this, McHoneyBell proposes a second experiment on the strings. If we get 16 coins and rename ourselves to A, B, 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 C, 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 D, 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 which is 16 characters, it should look like this in memory. Right, give me more coins. Right. Lots of coin grinding in this. Six, 7, 8, 9. PC broken. Right, I've got my 16 coins anyway, so A, or capitals, A, B, 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 C, 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 D, 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 D. We've overflown the input text. Alright, so then we get our memory like that. Notice how the game adds the null character after the 16 bytes, which overwrites shop PK name. If you talk to the shopkeeper, you should see his name is empty. Is that the other goblin thing? Welcome to the store, is there anything you want to buy? And he's got a blank nameplate. Right, this happens because the game reads from the start of the variable up to the first null byte, which is the very first shop peak, so it's null. So now that your name is 16 characters long, even though the player name should only be 12, the part of your name now overlaps with the coins variable, so if you spend some money in the shop, your name will also change if you go buy some items and see what happens. So I want a red ball, a green ball. I love how I've got like a billion coins as well now. 1145. Let's get a McSkiddy. and a llama. Right, since the C++ doesn't check the variable boundaries, it will read your name from the starter playable name. Oh, we've done that bit. So now that the name overlaps with the coins variable, if you spend some of your money in the shop, your name will also change. So if I talk to you, hey, AAAABBBBCCCCYCDD. So if you, yes, we spent money, it changes the name. Van Twinkle has mistyped the name during the previous experiment and ended up with AAABBBCCCDEEFG. Then they noticed that they had 1195787588 coins in the upper right. Out of curiosity, they used an online tool. This converts hexadecimal to decimals and checks if the hexadecimal number in the debug panel matches their coin count. To their surprise, the numbers were different. McConey-Bell explains that the integers in C++ are stored in a particular way in memory. First, the integers have a fixed memory space of 4 bytes, as seen in the debug panel. Secondly, an integer's bytes are stored in reverse order in most desktop machines. This is known as the little endian byte order. Let's use an example to understand this better. If you take your current coin count of 1195787588, convert it into the number to hex, you'll obtain 47464544. This corresponds to what was shown by the debug panel but backwards. How many coins would you have if the hex value of the coins was shown in memory as follows? Input your answer at the end of the task. So winning the game. McConey-Bell is about to wrap up the lesson and call it a day, but first she explains how an attacker could overwrite any value of the coin variable and have enough to buy the star to finish the game. On hearing this, McCready starts laughing maniacally, tells McConey-Bell they rigged the game so that nobody could win. McConey-Bell is more than welcome to try and purchase the star, McCready says. Confused, McConey-Bell does some quick calculations and concludes that she should be able to get enough coins. She looks at you and asks you to show how the vulnerability can be exploited. You'll notice that she looks a little doubtful, but still, it's up to you to win the game. Can you get the star in your inventory and prove McCready wrong? Once you get the star, interact with the Christmas tree to finish the game. So
10 raiders from Dutchy Raider have joined.
Dutchy, thank you for the raid.
Dutchy Raider says,
You're going to get a shout out?
Dutchy 10 raid.
Oh, come on.
Thank you for the sub. Parkour. I miss doing parkour.
Oh, that's where you hide the key, you dirty son of a... Oh!
Stares the trash man says,
On the first day of Christmas, Duchy sent me un dragon-sized dildo.
And now we can't use this in a VOD.
Christy says, Dick.
How's everyone
Translated
doing?
from Dutch.
We're just hacking a video game using what's called a buffer overflow, so prepare to have your minds blown. In fact, I'll do it for you right now. Let's
Stares the trash man says,
Ackerman.
Hackerman. He's the most powerful hacker of all time.
Gotcha. Right, let's carry on. So yeah, one of the challenges we got for the raiders, we need to buy a star, which then lets us end the game, so we can put the star on top of the tree. So if we move our cat down to this little guy, he's got the shop. So if we buy the star, we type D and enter. Hey, you're not supposed to have that kind of money.
Say the star.
I earned every coin fair and square, now give me the star. This game is supposed to be unwinnable, you know. I'll cut you a deal, I'll give you a much cooler item for the same price. Ah, thanks. So we can't buy the star directly. It put a nutcracker icon in the screen. Do we get another one? Yeah, we do. Right, so we need to... If we look at the inventory items, so these numbers here, those correspond with the items in my inventory. So what we've got to do is change my name, overflow all these variables until we get to the inventory name, and then we need to put in the value that the star is. So let's try and do that now. So if I go back to my name changer, I've got loads of coins, so I can buy loads. So let's just do A, so that does the top row, B, C, D, and then E is the top row of the pink, F is the second row, G is the third row, H, I. Wait, how many I's is that? 1, 2, 3, 4. J. K. It's good I know my alphabet, isn't it? Right, so then it should just be a D. Yeah, there we go. There we go. So yeah, that's replaced the star. So I've got a star in my first slot, and then we've got a D in the first slot. And then we should just go up to the tree. And there we go, we put all the shit on the tree. So that is it. You've got the star, thank you for getting ready for Christmas. Here's your flag. So we do THM. Look, Honey Bell is the real star. Ta-da! Right, so there's that, and then this one. If the coins variable had the in-memory value of the image below, how many coins...
Young Veet Grandpa says. Need a hint for the first question?
Not yet. Let's try and do it first. So if the coin variable had the in-memory value in the image below, how many coins would you have to have in the game? So we've got... What's that? 4F, 5053, so let's put it in here. 4F, 5053, oh shit. 5053, is that right? 5053, yeah. Right, convert that to decimal, get that. We want text, not decimal. Oops. So we need to put oops in the coin value. So let's go change our name. Alright, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Oops. And so we should have 1397721. Is that right? No. Right, we'll do it the other way. So A, B, C, SPOO. So then that gives us, because we've got to do it in Little Indian, so it's backwards. 0597971. No, why is that? I said it the right way. Let's do tab. No. What? So let's put it back to what it was. So A, B, C, D. No, not D. Oops. So that's 4F, 4F, 5053. My coins are 139777211. There we go, that's fair. Just me putting it in wrong. Cool, so we have only explored the surface of buffer overflows in this task. Buffer overflows are the basis of many public exploits, can even be used to gain complete control of the machine. If you want to explore the subject in more depth, feel free to check the buffer overflow room. I don't think I've done this one, so this could be one we could do at a future date. And this is a subscriber room, so you need to subscribe in order to do it. Okay, and Van Jolly still thinks the Ghost of Christmas Past is in the game. She says that she's seen it with her own eyes. She thinks that the ghost is hiding in a glitch, whatever that means. What could she have seen? Is there an Easter egg in it? Or is that teeing us up for tomorrow? We like... Go in the house? No, I think that's it. Right, so that's the limits of the game. Let's